I don't particularly like Color Cup. When I saw the meta, I was instantly like, oh no, this is going to be so RPS. I should have just stuck to Ultra League. I really think I could have reached Legend if I didn't play this stupid cup. But over the past couple of days, I decided to be very stubborn and I refused to play a single game of Ultra League until I learned the Color Cup meta. What ended up happening? We dropped around 280 points. Only 280 points. It's fine. I didn't want to reach Legend early anyways. I didn't want to be, the first, I don't know, girl who plays too much GBL and has no life to reach Legend in the season. Yeah, so you can guess I have not been having too much fun over the past couple of days. But on this channel, we do not give up that easily. Also, I am a sucker for punishment, and I am really stupid. That is all I could say about myself because I decided to try the Color Cup again today. I wanted to give it another chance after my friends recommended to me that I run a double fire backline because for them, double fire backlines were working really well. Now, they recommended a grass lead with, in place of Magmar, they were running Typhlosion. However, I really wanted to run the Shadow KINGDRA that I built, and I wanted to try Magmar out. So today I gave Shadow KINGDRA on the lead, with Magmar on the safe swap and Shadow Marowak in the back, a try. And surprisingly, it worked really, really well. We managed to beat a triple water team with this team. The idea behind this is very simple. If you lose lead, you swap into Magmar, and potentially you can draw out a water type. If you do, you can hit it for neutral with the Scorching Sands, and then hopefully with the water type out of the way, Marowak can sweep. That's assuming your opponent is running only one water type in the back. Of course, this team is going to lose very badly to a team composition such as Ferrothorn, Double Mud Boys. So if you get that team, there's nothing you can do against it. You can go ahead and top left. Now, even though I was being very negative about the Color Cup, I actually really enjoyed running this team because literally all three Pokemon on the team are Pokemon that I never use, especially Magmar. That is new. I've never built that before. I've never used it. I got to try it out now, and now I'm curious to see how it works in the Open Great League. Maybe we'll try it one day if we're feeling adventurous. But for now, I'm going to stop rambling and get into these battles. Oh my goodness, that elo is so difficult to look at. It's not that it's a bad elo. It's actually a very good elo to be at this early in the season, but it's just that I dropped from the 2800s to the 2500s. So you could see where my disappointment is coming from. But anyways, in this first match, we are going to be up against a Quagsire on the lead, which I absolutely have to get rid of with my KINGDRA. But my opponent swaps into a KINGDRA of their own, and a KINGDRA is going to absolutely wreck the entire team. So I go for an Octazooka. At least I get the debuff on their KINGDRA, and I'm going to bring in Magmar. I have to use my final shield. But at least they let the Scorching Sands go, and we get rid of that annoying Seahorse. But now I have this annoying blob thing to deal with because also Quagsire is going to wreck my entire team. And they tried to farm our Magmar down, so they ended up getting a lot of energy on the Quagsire. However, I swap into KINGDRA to force them to throw the Stone Edge so that I could get rid of that energy and then come in with Marowak to fire spin them down. Now, my opponent's final Pokemon is a Toxapex, and if they reach 2 brines, which they will be able to, then they will win. However, I'm going to have to go for a catch and really hope that the catch works. We managed to catch the second brine on my 1 HP Magmar in the back. Thank goodness I was able to save it. They swap into Quagsire, but at this point, there's nothing it can do. I was able to fire spin it down, and my opponent is going to go ahead and top left, and we take that win against a triple water team. Moving on to the next battle, we're going to be up against an Alolan Marowak on the lead. This is exactly where we want to see it. However, my opponent swaps into an Emolga, and I don't really have a good answer to Emolga, so I'm going to stay in with my KINGDRA because I know I can do a lot of damage with the Dragon Breaths. But to my surprise, my opponent actually lets the Octazooka go, and we can take the Emolga out, and now they are going to bring in a Decidueye. I swap out immediately into my Magmar. I know that I can draw the Marowak back out, and I would much rather have Marowak against Magmar than a Marowak mirror match. But for some reason, my opponent actually lets the Scorching Sands go and the Fire Punch go on their Marowak, so now I am in a really good position. I'm going to bring in KINGDRA. I'm going to damage the Decidueye just a little bit more. I'm not going to shield anything. I'm going to save my shields for my Marowak and Fire Spin their Decidueye down, and we take that win. I don't know why my opponent didn't want to use any shields in that matchup, but GG's to our opponent. Moving on to the next match, we're going to be up against a KINGDRA on the lead, which again, I kind of have to take care of with my own KINGDRA because my backline is going to be very weak to it. However, my opponent swaps out into a Decidueye. I bring in Magmar because I don't want to bring a Alolan Marowak into it. I think they would be able to Astonish us down. I'm not 100% sure, but the Astonishes will hurt. So I bring in Magmar, thank goodness. They let the Fire Punch go and we're able to take that Decidueye out without having to use both of our shields. And we managed to get the shield that I used back when I go for a Scorching Sands against their KINGDRA. Now, I managed to take their KINGDRA out with my own KINGDRA. I made the risky move of using my final shield without knowing what they had in the back, but it ends up being a Ferrothorn, and as soon as I see my Alolan Marowak, my opponent goes ahead and top lefts, and we take that win, and that is going to be a 4-1 in that set, which I have not seen in a while because we have been on a lose streak, so it was really refreshing to finally win a set again. Moving on to the next battle, we're going to be up against a Gastrodon on the lead. Again, something I have to absolutely get rid of with my KINGDRA, but I noticed here that I'm not going to be able to take this out with KINGDRA because my opponent is going to go ahead and obviously shield whatever move I'm going to throw. So I'm going to let the Body Slam go. I just need to get this Gastrodon into a range where I can come in with my Marowak and Fire Spin them down before they can make it to an Earth Power. A Body Slam is not going to hurt our Marowak. We're able to do that and get an energy lead on our Marowak, which is going to be very good against their backline because my opponent is going to bring in a Typhlosion. I let the first Thunder Punch go. I have so much energy built up on this Marowak now. I can go for two Bone Clubs. However, my opponent swaps into their own Marowak. I'm able to land a Shadow Bone on that Marowak, and then I'm going to let the Bone Club go here, and I'm going to farm up as much energy as I can on my Magmar. Before going for a Fire Punch, we take their Marowak out, and I'm going to be able to reach a Scorching Sands for their Typhlosion, one-shot the Typhlosion, and we take that win. GG's to our opponent. Now in the next match, we see a very terrible core breaker for our entire team, and that is going to be a Shadow Charizard with Dragon Breath. I just decide to let the Dragon Claw go here on my KINGDRA, and then I come in with my Magmar. I should be able to take this out with a Fire Punch. Hopefully they let it go. They do. Okay, the Charizard is out of the way, and then, oh boy. Here comes the core breaker for my backline, a Talonflame. I go for a Scorching Sands and I actually manage to take a shield from them. I'm gonna go ahead and shield my Marowak as well. They go for a Brave Bird, that is really good for us. And I let the next move go knowing that it's a fly, not a Brave Bird. My opponent's final Pokemon, we get super lucky here, is a Shadow Abomasnow. I'm able to Fire Spin them down and come out with two Shadow Bones for the Talonflame. My opponent already knows that it's over. They let it go. It's enough to one-shot. And surprisingly, we take that win. There was a Charizard with Dragon Breath, which should have destroyed my entire team, and a Talonflame, which should have destroyed both of the Pokemon that I had left. But somehow, we managed to win that. Now this next team I'm up against is just one of those teams that you can't really do much against. It is going to be Abomasnow double water, and unfortunately for me, the second water type is not a Toxapex. It is going to be a KINGDRA, so some of these games you just can't win. It is, like I said, it is an RPS meta. If you get a fire type on a water type, the fire type is going to lose. If you get a grass type or a Ferrothorn, let's say, on a water type like KINGDRA, then the KINGDRA is going to lose. There's not much you can do. So yeah, we are going to absolutely get destroyed by this KINGDRA. I am not going to be able to land a Shadow Bone. We get a defense drop. I don't know why I'm staying in this because my opponent is definitely going to be able to reach an outrage here. I was just hoping that there might be a slight chance that I could Dragon Breath them down before they reach that outrage, but no, we're just going to lose that game. Now in the next game, again, we are going to see a Shadow KINGDRA, which I have to stay in against. Unfortunately for me, they managed to take us out before we can Dragon Breath them down. So I'm going to have to take an Octazooka on my Magmar, and we get an attack drop, which is so annoying. They bring in that Decidueye, and at this point I'm thinking I might be in a good position if my opponent's final Pokemon is a Ferrothorn. So I go for a Fire Punch, which surprisingly they let go on their Decidueye, and then I come in with my Marowak, now knowing that I could Fire Spin them down. I use my final shield, really betting that my opponent's final Pokemon is that Ferrothorn, and thank goodness it is, because we're not going to need shields for the Ferrothorn matchup against our Marowak, and we are going to be able to get their shields out of the way, and then come in with our Magmar and go for a Fire Punch, take the Ferrothorn out, and we are going to take that win. So there I was starting to recognize that a lot of people were running KINGDRA with 2 grass types in the back, and in a lot of cases it was Decidueye and Ferrothorn. So we made a prediction, it ended up being right, and thank goodness we were able to handle that backline. Moving on to the next battle, we are going to be up against a Toxapex on the lead, and the 2 Pokemon that I have in the back deal with this Toxapex a lot better than my KINGDRA. So I'm going to swap into my Magmar, and my opponent is choosing to stay in. So it's very possible that the 2 Pokemon that my opponent has in the back might be grass types. If that is the case, then my Marowak should be able to handle them. And so I'm going to save my final shield for Marowak. Thank goodness we did that, because now we can shield the Shadow Ball from the Trevenant, go for a full Fire Spin down, and come out with so much energy for this Ferrothorn. I am going to be able to go for 2 Shadow Bones here. My opponent already knows that it's over, so they're going to let them go, and we are going to take that win. And guys, to my surprise, that is going to be another 4-1 with this team. I was really not expecting a double fire backline to perform this well because of how many double water backlines I was seeing previously. But it seems a lot of people are starting to run a lot of grass types in the back, so we were doing pretty good with this team. Now I just have one more set to share with you guys. I played this set, and then I played one more after it, and unfortunately in the one after it we went 1-4. Again, I started seeing a lot of teams that I couldn't really counter with this team. So after that, I just went back to playing Ultra League, and I think I'm going to focus on Ultra League for the rest of the week. But at least we got a feel for the meta in Color Cup, because I think in the next week, I'm gonna have to make a choice between Color Cup and Master League. And I think we all know that I'm not a big fan of Master League. I might hate Color Cup so much that I might end up just playing Master League. Oh my goodness, but next week is going to be interesting. But I would like to focus on Ultra League for the rest of this week, because I technically am an Ultra League specialist. I should be trying to take advantage of whenever Ultra League is around, but I wanted to get used to the Color Cup meta before, I came into it not knowing anything about it next week. But I got like 3 days of playing in this cup. I think we could say I've had enough practice, so I can move on to something else. Oh, by the way, in the game that's going on right now, I just get destroyed by my opponent. I think actually, if I double shielded my Magmar against their Emolga, then I might have had a chance. Actually, I don't know. I don't think so. Nah, we got destroyed. Anyways, moving on to the next match, we are going to be up against a Charjabug on the lead. I remember this game, it was super close. I swap into the Magmar to draw out any water types in the back. I was thinking it might be double water in the back, but we draw out a Shadow Quagsire, and I'm able to land a Scorching Sands, get them into the yellow, and then I am going to come in with my KINGDRA, and we're able to Dragon Breath them down before my opponent can reach a Stone Edge, which is really good for me. Now here I mess up a little bit. I wanted to try to go for a catch on one of the X-Scissors, but I end up taking both of them on my KINGDRA. I end up actually double shielding KINGDRA here. I really should have gone for a catch on that second one, but my Dragon Breath timing was atrocious. But I do manage to catch, the third X Scissor. So we managed to catch it on Marowak, and my opponent's final Pokemon is a Credilli. So they are going to hit us for super effective with the Rock Slide. At least I'm able to reach a Shadow Bone, and I'm really hoping that my opponent is going to let it go. They do. They are going to have to go for another move here to take our Marowak out, and here all I have to do is hope that I can come in with KINGDRA and Dragon Breath them down, and then maybe we can get a debuff from the Octazooka. No, but we are able to Dragon Breath the Credilli down and then take the Charjabug out. And surprisingly, we take that win. GG's to our opponent, but that was such a close match. Now there is a battle in here that I won because my opponent was lagging so much. My team hard countered their team anyways, but if there was anything they could do to flip the matchup in their favor, they weren't able to do it because of how much they were lagging. So I took it out of respect for my opponent, but moving on to this next match, we're just gonna get destroyed here. This is another one of those where we can't do much. I am going to bring in my Magmar and draw out a Quagsire. If they have another water type in the back, then I won't be able to do anything. But I gave up both of my shields and my opponent has a Morpeko in the back. I can just go ahead and top left here because this Morpeko is going to destroy my Alolan Marowak. So GG's to my opponent. I went 2 shields down against a backline that had a Morpeko, and I ended up learning the hard way that that is not the right thing to do. Anyways, guys, we have reached the final battle of the video, and this is going to be another one of those KINGDRA double grass backlines, so you know how this is going to go. We were able to get rid of their KINGDRA with our KINGDRA, and now we have 2 fire types to take care of their Decidueye and their Ferrothorn, and basically we are going to take this win, and that is going to be a 3-2 in this set. Like I said, the next set after that I go 1-4, which is very unfortunate, but I am going to go ahead and sign off here. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe leave a like, it helps me out so much. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.